welcome to the second part of our very serious discussion on how to save the world with stand-up comedy. And you're watching a special edition of The Point with me, Liu Xin, and 4 stand-up comedians here in China. 3 of them with me, Yufu, Alex Shi, and Donnie Fan, and Norah Young joining us online from Shanghai. So we already had a very funny show, the funniest, I must say, where I laughed the most in my 6 years as a show host. That was wonderful. But we have more in store because we have, more performances, more discussions, and supposedly there's some surprise towards the end of the show as well, coming from me.
Oh.
Don't expect too much.
Lower your expectations.
Are you doing stand-up?
Well, they told me I should try, so
Oh my God.
Oh.
that's why I have been sleepless. but anyway, the Spring Festival.
Yes.
I mean, the Spring Festival is like cliche topic for stand-up comedies, but really, why is it so? And why so many people love and hate the the Spring Festival? Norah, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely just a war between old concept and new concept. Like we have a lot of observation of the old traditions. We find it to be funny, and then we want to roast on that. And always Chinese New Year is like a material part for me, especially since I started to become a comedian. And things just become different. For example, when we were at the dinner table, one day I remember mentioning that, my dad had a throat surgery and it took him a few weeks to fully recover. And I stopped at that. And my uncle just said, okay, where's the punchline? I'm like, Uncle, there's no punchline to that, okay? Just like my dad having a very bad day. And he's like, oh, you're a comedian. I expect funny things coming out of you every minute, every moment. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, like, whenever I was sitting there, and then my cousin would just bring their children to me, and my niece and my nephews, and they'd be like, Auntie Norah is a comedian, go talk to her. But most importantly, learn English. Just go, it's just all the time. So every single time I have to, write down all the things that really trigger me, and then just put them into a joke and hopefully make some money off of it.
Hey, but it really wonders me. Norah, I watched a little bit of your stuff online, everybody of yours. But Norah, you seem to be very harsh on your father.
Oh, the recent one, the recent set.
Yeah, you took a lot of things from your mom,
Out
Alex.
of love.
Yeah, and out of love. Okay, Norah, out of what?
Norah, clean your love for your father now before you get in further trouble.
No, my dad loves it. My dad knows all my jokes. He loves all of them. He only has one small request. He's like, my voice sounds way sexier than your impression, so make it lower. And that's his only request. And my dad also tried open mic once, so I think he's funny by
awesome.
gene. And he passed that gene, luckily, to me. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Does he
my dad is
understand-
even better.
Does he understand English? Or does he do it in Chinese?
He doesn't understand a lot of English, but he can see the subtitles. But he also came to see my Chinese shows, so he sort of know what I'm doing. And every time I make impression of him, even if it's in English, he kind of know instantly that it's him.
He likes it.
I know that.
Parents just
That sexy voice.
know that.
Yeah, but it's. I think there's something special about people who do stand-up comedies. You're not the usual type. There's something about you. I mean, I don't know, Donnie. Is there do you think you're different from other people, or as a group of stand-up comedies who are just able to stand there and people are like, oh, that's really funny?
I think everybody is exactly like me. I think I'm very relatable to everybody. No, it is a special type of person, but I think a lot of stand-up comedy, and people might disagree with me, comes from insecurity. Mm-hmm. And so when you're performing, the relatability isn't necessarily with your life experiences or who you are.
Okay.
It's more the insecurities you have within those life experiences, and that's
So-
what the audience connects with. So while I personally have had a totally different path, a different lifestyle, a different upbringing, those natural human insecurities are what connects
All
people.
right. What is Spring Festival for you? A good topic, a bad topic?
Spring Festival, well, in comedy, like whatever the latest trending thing is a good topic usually, because then you do get to meet people with other forms of relatability. I don't really like, I love Spring Festival, but I don't really like celebrating Spring Festival because like I've been to so many different people's houses, being a foreigner in China, and not having family here to celebrate with my friends. Always, my coworkers always say, oh, you should come, to our house to celebrate Spring Festival so you can, as Norah said, talk to our 4-year-old. They'll have so much fun. It's like I go there, everybody's drinking drinks at a table, and then they're like, "Hey, Donnie, you can sit over there with the kids. You go over there." And it's annoying because when they like prepare the food, everybody's always worried. Oh, is Donnie gonna eat Chinese food? Is he gonna like it? And whatever I choose, the first food I choose is all they want me to eat for the rest of the day. So
Here, take it.
Have more, have more.
I'll have shrimp, and I'll have the first piece of shrimp, and they're like, oh, do you like the shrimp? And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, have more. And they just pick up the bowl off the table and give it to me. And then everybody's done eating, and then they look at me, and they're like, oh, Donnie, you didn't really eat that much food. And I'm like, yeah, my stomach hurts. I just ate 47 shrimp by myself.
So that's
terrible.
too much love.
Too much love.
Too much
It's
to
out of
handle.
a sweet place, but it's it's a little frustrating. And then the other thing that happens that I really think is out of love, but I don't like is I remember the first Spring Festival that I had at somebody else's house. They really wanted me to have the lucky dumpling. So the dumpling that has the coin
the
in
coin
it.
inside.
Yeah, with the coin inside. They really wanted me to eat it, and I did.
Including the coin.
Including the, yeah, they're like, oh, this means you're going to be so lucky the entire year. It's going to be amazing. But then they do, the traditions where everybody in the family gets hongbao. And I'm like, I would much rather have the hongbao. Everybody else can have the lucky dumpling. Just give me a hongbao, please. And they don't. And so I get a year of luck. So far, it hasn't worked out. But if anybody invites me here to Spring Festival, I'll skip the dumpling. You keep it.
Especially the lucky one.
Yeah.
Especially the lucky one. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. Yifu, Spring Festival.
Well, Spring Festival for me is like a normal family dinner because I'm living in Shanghai. So during that time, I will come back to my home and we just talk and eat in the dinner. So I hardly read anything about Spring Festival.
Why not?
Because all my family members is a military. So the education from very little to now is like very strict. I never make joke with
Do
my
they
family.
know that you're making a living, or not making a living, but you have a passion for making people laugh?
Yeah, they know, but okay, in other way, not in our family. Not with our family's story.
You can make fun of other people, but not
like
us.
culture, yeah.
Okay.
Culture, like
He talks about my family during his stand-up session.
But for Spring Festival, what happens? I mean, you said you don't like, or
I mean, for Spring Festival, I can't read any 段子 or any jokes in that, but I pretend to be a good boy in my family, and that's all.
no trouble.
No trouble.
Just be good. Just be
All
kind.
Chinese
Yeah.
kids.
Alex.
Pretty much all Chinese kids are gonna try to be the good kid.
Hey, Alex.
Yes.
One thing that a lot of people love to watch and a lot of girls hate to have is their parents nagging them about, hey, when are you getting married? When am I going to become a grandmother, and so on and so forth? Do you get that?
Of course I do. Of course I do. There is before I had a boyfriend, there's a boyfriend question, and then there's a lecture on the importance of marriage and the importance of having a lifelong partner. And then they will circle back to having a boyfriend, and they'll talk about that I need to lose weight. And my mom's not rude. She's not gonna call me fat. She's not gonna say anything. She says I'm not elegant enough.
And she says slowly.
Yeah, she says, if you're 30 pounds more elegant, you will have a boyfriend. Now that I have a boyfriend and I actually got less elegant in her world, she's like, if you lose 20 more pounds, you will look equally elegant as your boyfriend. So she'll say that, and then with
That
my
hurts.
and then with my look, she will bring me to my family relatives, and you know how like I'm sure like you know Fu's family is gonna say, look at my handsome son, look at my funny son, my whatever, my beautiful daughter. My mom brings me to our family relatives, and she goes, look at my daughter. She looks so auspicious.
She has a way with words.
She really does. So even though she's never performed on stage, I do think I probably picked up something from her, and she's going to do this thing that all of us are going to relate,
Okay.
and every Chinese family too. She's going to say, oh, you need to lose weight. Right after she says that, she says, have more of this. Eat more of this. So that's going to be going on for 5 days that I have to understand what
During the
contradictory
Spring
is.
Festival series. That is the most intensified version of all of these. Yeah, so it seems to me, after watching a lot of stand-up comedy clips online and hearing us talk, I'm sorry, I'm not being very complimentary or even polite. People who are lucky, people who are fortunate, people who are successful don't do stand-up comedies.
It's kind of true. It's kind of true.
The ones who are doing stand-up, especially if you watch the ones in Chinese online, the worse you look, the more popular you get. I don't know. Is that a what?
I'm here.
Why? Is there something uniquely Chinese or?
Nora's beautiful.
Nora's beautiful. Yeah, Nora. Why do you squeeze into the team?
I think that stand-up is about like every person in the world, because it's like your own lens, your own filter of the world. Everyone is different. You have your own stories, and everyone has their ups and downs. So I personally think it's a cliche that only the so-called losers can be a comedian. I definitely don't think that's true. Yeah, we do see a lot of such type of people. They're easier to get laughs. I think it's because one of the reasons that people laugh generally is that they laugh at people for their poor stories, for their unfortunes. I think just like human natures, right? Like everybody has some like dirty or evil side of them. But there's also other jokes that could be not related to your personal failures or personal hopeless stuff, but it could still be funny, like Seinfeld, like the very famous worldwide comedians. He doesn't really touch on his like sadness stories, and even when he's like rich and famous, he could still produce a Netflix special that people can relate to. So I personally don't think that's true. So yeah, I'm working on that. I'm not gonna just be stuck on here. I'm not going anywhere.
No, but yeah, Danny.
To that point, I think I agree with Nora. But I do think a lot of people, the reason for this stereotype is a lot of people who do stand-up comedy, they think it's just like, I just get to go complain about my life. A lot of people, you see them at an open mic, they're just like, oh, I'm just going to complain about this, or this, and people are going to think it's funny. But we have a saying in stand-up comedy, which is punch up, not down. So you don't want to offend, like, if somebody's beneath you, like either intellectually or financially or in terms of like aesthetic, you don't want to make fun of people who are uglier than you or worse off than you. That won't reach a connection. So a lot of times you have a very beautiful woman or a very handsome man get on stage and they're like, it's so hard for me to find a boyfriend or find a girlfriend, and the whole audience that's just single is just looking at them like, no, I would give anything to look like you, and it's not funny, in that respect. So if you are, anybody can do stand-up comedy, but it is all about like finding that connection with the audience and finding where you can relate to them.
Yeah. So whose turn to perform now? I've lost track. Who hasn't performed?
Nora.
Nora?
Nora.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna share a few stories of mine because I think it's easier to be here. So I think 3 years ago, before I really started my social media, I did my English headline show in Hangzhou. And to my surprise, like very few people know me back then, but the show was sort of sold out. I had a full room. I was very flattered, and I saw a mom bring her daughter, who's probably only 14, 15 years old, and they were sitting just like on the second and third row. And they sat there through my whole set, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm not even slightly close to so-called famous, but I get so much love. So I asked the mom at the end of the show, I was like, oh my God, ma'am, thank you so much for coming. Like, why did you bring your daughter to my show? And the lady looked at me into eye and with all sincerity, and she goes, 我听不懂的我就陪我孩子来的呀，快点，老师跟你讲话了，快点，终于到你了，哎呦，我等了90分钟了，快点，What's your name? Oh my God, guys!
So
it
she
was just
doesn't
like,
understand English.
funny.
She's just here to bring her child to an English
learn.
education. Yeah.
yes. So the little kid just said, "My name is Linda," and I was like, "Great, thank you, Linda, for coming here with your mom." You know, so that's one of the stories.
Oh, yeah.
Yay.
Hey, one thing, how come you guys speak such good English? I mean, Donnie, okay, not you, but
I had a full answer. Well,
you know, you learned it from your mom. I understand that, but not the other three. How come you speak such great English?
My English is not that great.
Okay, that's your punchline. You said it so many times. Stop it, Alex.
I don't know. I think it's from TV shows.
TV show. You watched a
I
lot of.
watched a lot of TV shows when I was in high school.
The Point with Liu Xin.
Yes.
Thank you.
Back
for
then.
that.
No,
Yeah.
she's not that old. A lot of TV shows, and I do think people ask me this question all the time.
Oh,
It gets a little
just a little old, yeah.
it gets a little annoying because I don't know how to answer it. So I dug up on some information online, and I found a theory that sort of works. If it's true for Norah and Fu as well, and for you as well, people who have better musicality,
Okay.
if they could sing pretty okay, then they tend to pick up the language faster and better because you
Yeah,
hear
it's a
the
good point.
subtlety
Yeah, it's a
in
good
the
point. No,
language.
So you're
Yeah.
gonna sing for us?
No.
no time for that. Nora, your tip?
Okay, I posted one of my English videos online, and I got like very distinctly different comments. Comment number one would be like, "Oh, you speak great English. You went to study in US, but a shame of you, you didn't keep any of the Chinese accent with you. Like you lost all your genes. That's too bad." And then the next following comment be like, "Oh, your parents pay so much for you to go overseas and go study there, but you still have a Chinese accent. What's wrong with you? You're wasting your parents' money."
So what
So
do
I
you
think
do?
it's I'm just ignoring and then using them as a joke. That's what I do. I don't think my English is perfect, but I think it's usable and it's enough for me to tour that around in comedy. So, but I do, as Alex said, I do watch a lot of TV shows and also listen to a lot of English songs.
Yes,
And then I
absolutely.
realized, all the lyrics that we grew up with are very harmful for young kids.
I know that from raising my children. There are songs you don't want them to learn when they're
No,
at
but I just thought
a
it's
young
cool.
age.
too.
Yeah, but it's great. It's great. I mean, I think maybe I give up my job as a talk show host on current affairs, and no, that's a joke. That's
Give
a
up
joke.
talk show for talk show. You know?
Give up a talk
Leave
show
yourself
for
the,
talk show.
the station. That's a joke.
Yeah, but I somehow I found watching stand-up comedies from so-called losers actually gives me a lot of positive energy because these people are so brave. They're so open about themselves. They're so honest and courageous that they don't look handsome. They're fine with it. They're able to laugh at it, and when people abuse them even online or whatsoever, they're able to joke at it. And I think that's a great positive energy, isn't
Absolutely.
it? I mean,
Absolutely.
and the audience love that.
Yeah, if we're looking at it from a comedy techniques perspective, if we could, any type of comedy, whether it's movies or stand-up or anything, the audience is always looking for something what we call a God perspective. So people are always going to want to look at someone like in this view and look at the story this person is doing or making fun of themselves or out of themselves. That's how you get a laugh. It sounds a little cruel, but that's how comedy really works.
Yeah.
And so people who are, like we said earlier, so-called losers or people who have a different life experience, they're offering something that's unexpected. That's exactly why earlier you said, "Oh, I was hoping that you would go there, and then when we go somewhere else, the unexpected happens." And that's when it clicks in your mind, and that's when the audience feel like, oh, that's something that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
That's where the kind of the amusement comes from. So
And
these
also,
people,
yeah,
they offer a different perspective on stage.
absolutely, and very smart. You know, the puns that they come up
Oh,
with.
thank you.
Very, very smart in general.
You're gonna be a great stand-up comedian. You
Am
already know
I?
how to roast people.
Try it.
Try it.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay. You know what? I was going to, give you a little bit surprise. So, should I give it a try?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh my God! I tell you, I didn't have the time to prepare because I'm super busy these days. But I'm just going to give it a try and
Let's see.
let's
See, that's
see.
a great stand-up pose
That's
already.
a great stand-up pose. You don't need a you don't need a high mic. Okay, everybody laugh. All right. Hey, everybody! I'm Liu Xin. That's what they all do. They go
Yes.
up there and they say, "Hey," and people laugh. you
Yeah.
know? All right. So I have a problem with high efficiency. People who are like me, who want to do at least 3 things at the same time, have a problem. And especially when you're compulsive about it, it's like you can't do 2 things at the same time. It has to be at least 3. And when you're in a kitchen, that's very dangerous. So I don't want to tell you how many times, and people haven't laughed. So
It's the build-up. It's the build-up.
it's a build-up. Oh my God, I don't know where it's going, but anyway, let's keep it going. So in my kitchen, I have at least 3 things. 1, an alarm clock to make sure that I don't forget something is on the stove. 2nd, a smoke detector when I forget something is on
On
the
the stove.
And the 3rd, you can guess?
Fire extinguisher.
You got it. So I changed. I changed my mind. A phone. I always need to have a phone on my hand while the food is cooking. You're taking pictures, right? So that you
Yes.
can show off later. When the food gets burned, you get pictures. You can take pictures and show up to your friend too. And that, it's okay.
Oh, it's great.
Yes.
It's great. It's great. It's great.
But it's all true, It's all true. So, but I have a passion. I have a passion for cooking too. Not that it means I'm a great cook. I just love cooking. And after a while, my family figured out the pattern of Xin's cooking. Because I come from South China, so there when we cook, we always add a little bit of sugar. So Mom Xin's secret recipe is a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt, a little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of mayo, and that's it. So everything pretty much comes up with
The same taste.
All right, I better stop embarrassing myself. My time is up. Thank you very much. Oh my
That's
goodness.
a great first time.
That's a first time. That's absolutely a first time.
Wonderful.
That's a
was
great
okay?
first time. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you. But all of these are true stories. Any tips? Anything that
I'm waiting for the
the
end of
punchline,
the end of the story will be the free shower.
the free shower?
You don't have
Oh, Not
Oh, that's
yet.
good.
no, yeah, that's great.
Danny, have you performed yet?
No, not yet.
Not
Yeah.
yet. I jumped your place.
Oh no, it was great. You helped
Just
me.
go.
You helped me.
Just go.
All right. Okay. It's my first time ever doing stand-up comedy
First time, right?
with you.
Oh, okay.
When I told my mom that I've been doing stand-up comedy in China, she was really interested by it, and she was like, "Oh, how's it going?" I said, "Oh, Mom, it's great. Like, we have like 40, 50 audience at all of our comedy shows." My mom was like, "Doesn't China have like 1.4 billion people?" And it's like, "Yeah, Mom, but like, we're doing English comedy, so it's not for everybody, but actually on social media, I'm doing quite well. Like, my video channels have over 3 million views."
Wow.
Thank you. I was like, wow, yeah, like, even I'm impressed by it. And my mom's like, "Yeah, but how many followers do you have?" And I told her 400. And so my mom says, so that means 2,999,600 people have seen your comedy and said that's enough. And I said, Mom, you know I'm American. Don't make me do math.
Is that punch up or punch down?
That's definitely punching down.
Both.
See?
So I'm single, and Spring Festival is coming around, and so of course the questions of relationships come up. So I've been trying to date a lot, and not a lot, but I've been trying to go on dates and meet the right person for me. And I recently went out with this girl, and she looked very unhappy to see me. And I thought it's just because my profile picture on my dating app is like 5 years old. But I said, is everything okay? Is something wrong? And she said, oh, you haven't done anything wrong. It's just lately I'm really afraid every guy I meet is going to be a PUA. And I said, PUA? What's a PUA? I don't understand. She said, a PUA is a pickup artist. I'm like, oh, I get it. You're afraid you're going to meet a guy, you're going to go out for dinner, you might have a few drinks, you're going to have a really good time, and the next day he's probably going to leave and never talk to you again. And she said, no, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I was like, wait, I don't get it. So then what's a pickup artist? And she said, oh, a pickup artist is so much worse than that. A pickup artist is somebody who makes you feel really insecure about yourself. They tell you you're fat, they tell you you're ugly, they tell you you're stupid. They say these things to you to make you feel like they're the only person who would ever accept you for who you are. They say these things so that you can never leave them. And I realized, oh no, my mom's a PUA. So that's me, guys. Thank you so much. I'm Donnie fan.
But oh, so much fun. Never had so much fun. I mean, from a cultural point of view, not from an intellectual point of view. We have to leave it there, I guess. I hope this is not the only time we're going to have such a, laughter in the. I promise I'll go to stand-up comedy in the Year of the Rabbit.
We'll hold you to that. We'll definitely hold you to that.
Yeah, well, hold me to that. And many thanks. Another round of applause. This time really long for Yifu, Alex Shi, Danny Film,
Donnie fan.
Donnie fan. And Norah Young in Shanghai. And with that, we come to this special series on Spring Festival brought to you by The Point with me, Liu Xin. As always, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter using the handle Liu Xin in Beijing. On behalf of the whole team, thank you for watching. You've got the point. Bye-bye.